Hey everybody, it's Cameron Kasky from FY Pod. Today we're going to be discussing the crazy New York mayoral race, which is proving to be a real close one. Please leave a comment down below and let us know who you think is going to emerge victorious, because it's been nuts and we're excited to get into it right now. It is New York City mayor's race eve, and this election has been tea as fuck. It's kind of crazy. I'm joined today by my wonderful friend Ellie to talk about what the fuck has gone on. Ellie, what the fuck has gone on?
Honestly, so much. I mean, maybe I'm biased because this is my first one, but this seems like a much more intense New York City mayoral Democratic primary than normal.
I mean, last one was interesting because it had the story of Andrew Yang emerging as the front runner and then crashing out over the course of 2.5 months and going from being ahead like 20, 30 points to ending, I believe, in fourth. I think when Eric Adams won, Catherine Garcia was in second, Maya Wiley was in third, and then it was Yang. So that was sort of the Andrew Yang race because he was sort of the really, really bizarre subject of that. And I'm sure there's a lot to say about that as well. But this time around, it's like Cuomo has basically been polling the same the whole time.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the early polls versus right now, Cuomo hasn't really grown or shrunk, but Zoran has gone from like 1% to now in certain polls being ahead of Cuomo. And it's fucking crazy.
It's awesome. You know, when I first saw a video of Zoran, I watched the video and thought, that guy seems really great and he's really seems nice and he's good. He's a good speaker. I like his policies. This is not going to go anywhere. It's awesome that he's trying. It's not going to go anywhere. And I am.
Do you think he's hot?
Yeah, of course. Please. I have eyeballs.
I don't know your type because like you simultaneously are like a Hassan Piker is so hot girly and dated me like a sickly little twink.
Look,
so it's not a crazy question for me to ask what you're into.
Finding Hassan Piker attractive is just like a normal thing. That's just like the normal position. Like it's not like he's my type. He's just an obviously attractive man. But getting back on the topic of Zoran, at first time I saw his video, and even I, a person who has a lot of hope, was like, that's gonna go nowhere. So watching his campaign rise and rise, like this really exciting momentum. I haven't seen people this excited over a candidate in a long time, and it made me for the first time understand just how like intelligent and just palpable of a slogan hope was for the Obama campaign. Like it really is addictive to see a candidate where you're like, maybe things could actually be good.
It kind of brings to mind what I thought was the really shitty slogan of the Harris campaign, which is "We're not going back," because we were talking about how we aren't going back.
Yeah.
But there was never really a substantive conversation about where we were going.
Yeah. Are we going for?
And with Zoran, I got kind of owned on MSNBC the other night because they were talking to me about different promises his campaign makes that just are not something the mayor can do, like raising corporate tax or making the buses free. And I didn't get an opportunity to respond. And my response would have been like, listen, I'd rather have a mayor who's advocating for those things and talking about how we ought to make them happen and working to make them happen, whether or not he can wave a magic wand, than a mayor in Cuomo who has stolen hundreds of millions of dollars from the MTA. It's a serious question with Zoran, which is like, if he makes a lot of campaign promises and cannot fulfill a substantial amount of them, is this going to be one of those things where centrists and Republicans are pointing at his administration for decades and being like, this is why progressive policy doesn't work?
First of all, I think they will do that even if it's wildly successful. Like, I think there's no world in which centrist Democrats or Republicans are going to look at a young, proudly socialist man and say, yeah, he's doing an amazing job. But also what I said when I was canvassing, when people would ask me about this.
You were canvassing?
Yes, I'm a hottie.
Okay, democracy. Okay, slay.
I got really excited by his campaign. I wanted to be part of it. Which me and so many others. But yeah, what I would say is, wouldn't you rather have a candidate who tries? Like, wouldn't you rather have a mayor that tries? So many of these people, they won't even stand up on progressive policies, which are broadly popular across the political spectrum. Like, it always happens in Florida, right? Like, Democratic politician polls at like 0%, but most progressive policy polls at like 99%. Like, that's obviously an exaggeration, but like progressive policies are popular and the Democrats never want to stand by them, isn't it nice to have a candidate that's standing on them, even if he can't get it all done? Isn't it nice to know that someone's going to actually try?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's definitely, with Zoran's agenda, at least it's an agenda, whereas Cuomo is basically just running on being Cuomo. Like, I'm pretty sure something came out that he used ChatGPT for his housing policy, which is just so fucking lazy. Like, hire someone to do it. And dude, fucking pay me. Like, I don't want you to win, but I'll do it if you give me enough money. But with the Zoran stuff, I'm sort of like, it really goes to show what Riz can do because he's so charismatic. And Brad Lander is like a very viable and strong progressive, and he's somebody who progressives can really get behind, but he's also like a nerd.
Right. I've long said that the thing that would fix the Democratic Party is if we just ran younger, hotter candidates. Some of my friends who are Lander heads, you might say, they have a conspiracy theory that Lander is actually going to pull the upset because, well, whether you're, a Cuomo hater,
he's going to get more second choices from Zoran and Andrew.
Everybody's ranking him, so that's interesting. I wouldn't be that mad at it. He seems like a nice fellow and seems like he stands on business. He got arrested.
More than Zoran's policies, because honestly, like, I just don't understand how a lot of this shit works enough to
litigate it.
Really go in and say, like, determine what exactly everything looks like in effect. Now he's abundance pilled. He's talking about how he's abundance pilled. I understand the abundance argument enough. I can't say that I'm very well versed in it. I understand the counter arguments pretty well too. I think that we did an episode of this, me and Tim, on the FY Pod show, but like, I think that there's a lot of holes in it, and I think that it dismisses what government services should be doing for people a lot. But I also think that generally, rhetorically, it's pretty strong. But Zoran's embracing that. For me, I'm also like, the thing about him that's the most appealing to me is just the fact that he is somebody who's been able to coalesce positive energy, including from young people. And the Democratic Party right now is just out here like, how can we get energy from young people? How can we get young people to be excited about somebody? And then you've got Zoran right here, and Jim Clyburn, Bill Clinton, Mike Bloomberg. So much of the Democratic establishment is doing everything they can to kneecap him. And it's like, well, you're getting the answer to what you've been asking, and you're taking that answer and being like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, they're like, how do we reach out to young men? You know who we should ask? Liz Cheney. Like, this is like their whole thing. It pisses me off. But yes, it's very exciting to have like a young progressive candidate with energy. And it's very funny to see how every establishment Democrat is saying, oh, we can't have this. I think this election, more than anything, is about really, are we as a party going to move forward, or are we going to stay where we are? Are we going to keep doing the same things, the same names, the same, policies, and the same boring shit that's clearly not working? Or are you going to try something new? Are you willing to embrace that?
And New York City is a very, it's at the center of the world. So seeing someone be a leader like that in a city like New York is just going to be very interesting. I actually want to pull up a clip right now of Eric Adams explaining just why New York City is so special. Let's have a look.
When you look at the totality of the year, if you had to describe it, and it's tough to do, in one word, what would that word be, and tell me why?
New York. This is a place where every day you wake up, you could experience everything from a plane crashing into our trade center to a person who's celebrating a new business that's open. This is a very, very complicated city, and that's why it's the greatest city on the globe.
Mm-hmm. Well,
there you have it.
Any day could be 9/11, one supposes.
It happens at least once a year. But that's Adams explaining why New York City is so great. Let's also watch Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, the mayor of biggest, greatest city on the globe. Let's watch him giving a little instructional video to parents on how they can parent a bit more effectively.
You can look in a jewelry box of this nature, maybe a simple jewelry box.
Not very well.
But if you look through it closely, you don't know what your child may be hiding. For instance, a gun. Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras. Try to determine what's taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. You should always, when your child brings in his popular knapsack with many different locations, look through it to see what exactly is your child carrying in addition to a book. Something simple as a crack pipe. Something simple as a baby doll. Could be just a baby doll, but also it could be a place where you can secrete or hide drugs. Run your hands over the pillows and see if you feel anything that's unusual. Like a pillow like this where the button is a perfect invitation to hide something. And I felt something bumpy. I would reach in, see what it is. Just look and see what's inside your bookcases. It could be more than just books. Perfect place to hide cocaine.
His popular knapsack with many different locations. All-timer phrase.
I think the most interesting one was hiding bullets behind a picture frame. You know, I think there's a lot of places you could hide bullets. They're not very big, and we ought to keep a close eye on
No, he's
our
right.
children's access to weapons.
Right. He's right. He has that like Trump thing, you know, where he's so funny. Like he says phrases that like no human has ever put together.
His one word to describe the past year in New York City was New York.
He's right.
So-
Well, technically, you can't fault him on that. No, I. It's a shame that they both went into politics instead of being daytime talk show hosts because they really have a way with words.
Trump and Adams doing a podcast together is something I would really be interested in.
Get sent.
But I guess
Heard of.
the last thing I want to talk about is like, look, some polls are coming in that because of the ranked choice system in later rounds, Zoran might end up beating Cuomo. We don't know. He's definitely getting a lot of second place votes from Lander voters. I think some of them might not be doing that because Lander might be getting a bunch of Israel people who just aren't going to get behind Zoran. But I think the vast majority of Lander voters are going to rank him second. I think he's going to just show up regardless of what place he's in. He's going to show up on a lot more ballots than Cuomo. In my opinion, that could be, I think Adrian Adams voters, could very well have Cuomo somewhere on there. I can't really tell, but what I think is a pretty fair assumption to make is that if Cuomo gets the nomination, end of story, he's the mayor of New York City. What the fuck is Curtis Silva or Eric Adams gonna beat him? He's got the Democratic establishment on his side. If Zoran gets the nomination, I think a lot of high profile Democrats and Republicans are going to come together, coalesce behind Eric Adams, and give us another Hamilton moment. Welcome, folks, to the Adams administration. Bill Ackman, who's a big MAGA billionaire, he's leading the charge against DEI. He's behind Cuomo right now. He'll go to Adams. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bill Clintons and Jim Clyburns of the world got behind Adams as well. And Zoran has a big issue right now with Black and Latino voters. White voters and Asian voters overwhelmingly on his side. Black voters, Latino voters, way in favor of Cuomo. And women are, in some polls, at 52% with Cuomo. So Zoran's going to face serious opposition if he gets the nomination. A lot of people are going to get behind Eric Adams who otherwise would have gotten behind Cuomo.
Eric Adams is deeply, deeply unpopular. Like you can't discount how people just don't like it. People genuinely like. So I think if Zoran gets the nomination, it might be difficult to stop the Zomentum.
That's entirely possible. But I will say it's probably going to be a situation where a lot of people come together and they're like, oh shit, we have to be Eric Adams supporters now. Fuck us. But
yeah,
that's what's happening.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Oh yeah. Did you see that thing where there was like an article that came out that was like newly resurfaced photo of Zoran with Hassan Piker?
Resurfaced? It was like a month ago.
It was like a month ago. And it's like, yeah, that was like, he was like, you think he's concerned about being
hiding?
Photographed with like the other guy who's really good at getting young men to be liberals?
The other is Zoran? Is he younger than Hassan? Or are they the same?
Zoran's 33. I don't know how old Hassan
He's
is.
35, I think. 34.
Hassan's fucking 35?
He's cooked, isn't he? He's an unk.
I need to fucking exercise. Jesus Christ.
You just need sunscreen.
I'm at the beach. Fuck you. You're not going to be available to do a post game with me, right?
No, I'm not. But hey, you know what I'm praying for. And everyone be safe on election day,
Drink water, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned for more, and you bet your bottom dollar you will be getting a post game from somebody. Thanks, everyone. Subscribe and all that shit, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Bye.